What's good, family? How you guys doing? This is the midweek review. So we're going to get into the charts very quickly so that we do not waste much time. I want to really just show you, some of the things that we talked about on Monday, where we're at, and the things that I'm interested in, the trades that I've taken, the losses, the profits, and let's see how that goes. All right, so let's start with the dollar. All right, so we've seen again that continuous sell side coming. Like I said on Monday, we are losing that story of buy side dollar, and the news is reflecting it, right? We had CPI coming yesterday, and we had cooling inflation again, right? Not CPI. I don't know why I say CPI, but PPI is it's the news release. Right, and we had cooling inflation. Let me see if I can show you that. Let me see if I can show you that. So we've had cooling inflation. So we've had cooling inflation, was it Tuesday? Core PPI, 0.1 lower than expected. So the markets, which would be, made up of the economists, the institutions, expected that, yes, we still have, high inflation, especially based on the things that have happened. So this news release reads, month by month, what, the inflation numbers are saying, right? How expensive are things? How much are people paying for goods and services, right? If that is higher than expected, higher than even what the market expects, it means that the Feds are less likely to cut rates. This would be strength for the dollar. This is why you see, the red marker here, right? Um, the core PPI, which measures goods and services in the US, right, month over month, and it's saying inside of here that what we have 0.1 lower than expected, 0.1 lower than expected. The expected price was 0.4%. All right. So core PPI measures food and energy prices, right? Why PPI actually just measures the total inflation, the total inflation at the producer level. Exactly. Exactly. I had to check my notes for that. Yes, but it's kind of like the same thing basically. But they are just different metrics. This is kind of like measuring, everything at once. Core PPI is really focused on food, energy, and these are things you can also check out. Right. So, but what are we seeing? We're seeing the dollar lose that story of buy side, like I've said earlier, right? We're seeing that, yield is dropping, oil is dropping. The market is already pricing in the expectations of a negotiation. One of the things you need to understand is that the markets are very smart. The markets are very smart. And when you already see the headline, right, we already know that, you can tell that the market is already doing something even before the headline comes in. And I think I've talked about it. It's called informational edge, right? There are individuals that are closer to these news releases even before it gets to the headlines. And what do you think would happen on that front, right? They would already start to price in the orders of what is coming. So we know that, there's some type of, talk between Iran and the US, right? And even though it's not yet on the news that there's going to be a negotiation, right? There's something already going on that covers, and the market is already showing that. And so we can see the market, just lose all of that story of, higher inflation, jobs market good, GDP going higher, and we are seeing, oil go higher, gold run lower, and all of that story, right? We're seeing the market lose that. So we see that drop coming, right? Now, this is what I want to talk about. Like I've said, I've been very not in with this move, right? And because of that, I took a very big loss. I took a trade on NZD USD. I held it for about a week and a few days, and that took me out, right? So again, this is a trade that follows my plan and strategy. So as much as it's obviously painful because I lost, good amount of money. I was going in, quite leveraged on this one, right? Up close candle breaking market structure, and I wanted to see, continuous sell side from here, right? And I got in when, the news about the escalation was still on high, right? So I expected dollar buy side, and this guy should go lower, Kiwi dollar, right? As it was very weak. It's still very weak in comparison to the dollar. But again, the flip of that story, I took that loss, right? So again, I'm still on this camp, right? Or I've been on this camp even going into this week. And let me just share you exactly how I'm thinking about it right now. Now, we've seen this sell side, and I agree, right? I'm, I'm getting to see, right, that okay, it's very possible that we continue to see dollar sell side, right? But again, I'm having a challenge with this, and that challenge is we've moved too fast. Yes, we've gone lower, but this has just been one expansion. And I was talking to my guys yesterday. There hasn't been any real retracement for the continuation of this move. So even if I want to get in, it's just, very still difficult for me to just jump in and say, okay, yes, I agree with the story, and let's price go higher. Let's price go lower. Let me show you something that I was looking at on the indices. If you look at, let's look at NAS. If you look at NAS, right, from March 31st, right, we've seen price just put in up close candles every single day since March 31st, except April 3rd. We've seen up close candle. This thing has just been running higher. Now, there's no reason why this cannot do this, right? It can. The problem I have with it is it's just too like this is just overboard. Just technically, just thinking about it, I do not like, and I talk about this a lot when I talk about how I view price. I would not like to engage price when it's just at the all-time premium. And don't get me wrong, price can do it, right? We can see this happen. You can see the same thing happened here last year, right? Where we formed a low in April, and we expanded. But even with this, right, we still see that return back into discounts, OB, and then expand, a little bit of return here. So as it's going higher inside of here, I've not really just seen that, retracement, right? And I had Westside Trader on the call yesterday, talk about how Euro USD and GBP USD have had, sort of an enough return to make that expansion. And yeah, I kind of agree with that. And it kind of made sense. It kind of made sense that that run lower was good enough manipulation for price, was good enough, was good enough accumulation for price to go higher, especially with the currencies. We saw that EU and GU, they were making a divergence here. EU was taking out this low of Wednesday. GU was taking out that low of Wednesday. EU failed to take out that low. EU was quite calm. Look at that, right? Breaking market structure returns back into discounts where that bullish order block is here. If you look over to the left side of the chart, you'll find a breakout block also. Up close counter run below sell side liquidity, breaks market structure, comes back inside of its breaks market structure. So this is still calm, right? Right. But what I'm saying is this has just really run quickly, and it can be as an effect. It can actually be an effect of more buy side on the camp. So again, it's in terms of what the fundamentals are saying, the economic calendar, and what we're already seeing, it seems to me that we can have, buy side start to play. The problem with it is, or the way I'm looking at it right now is I'm not just there yet, right? So in here, I won't just start to buy, right? In here, I won't start to buy, but I want to see, discounts to engage price for longs, right? Now, it doesn't need to be a whole lot. I just need to see something that gives me, a lot more confidence to be engaged. This is too extended for me. It's kind of like I've missed the boat on the buy side and I just have to wait. And that's exactly what you want to think about, right? It's like if you have not been in this play anywhere inside of here, that train is passed. And if you try to force or jump on a moving trade, you know exactly what happens to you. So I have two options. I wait for price to give me, a decent move that gets me back, or I look at exactly what we are doing right now. Right. So this is a level I've talked about, mitigation block, down close candle, run higher, fails to take out this high, and then we have a breaking market structure. Right. Price has returned into that level here. Right. If you look at what happened here, right, we have April 14th high and we have February 23's high. There's a divergence with GU with that high. Right. The interesting thing about divergence that I'm looking at inside of here is both of them are at a higher time frame level. Now, this doesn't really mean much because when we see the divergence, right? Yes, key level matters. We can see both of them at the key level. EU is at the mitigation block. GU is at a bearish order block. Right. That's the first thing you want to think about when you're thinking about divergence. The second thing is, are we seeing displacements from both pairs that actually confirms the direction? If you think a high is forming in price, the next thing you want to see is a displacement. All right. So I'm looking at that to see, oh, is there something that can offer some sort of counter trend to, short-term plays? Because that's exactly what I can still do now. I can see that everything is looking high. So if I'm engaging shorts, I'm not, engaging it in such a way that I'm expecting your price to return all the way. There's no long-term directional bias on the short side for me. But there's also not a comfortable spot for me to engage longs, right? If I want to engage longs, I'm looking at, this candle inside of here, it's a long one, right? But you get what I'm saying. I'm looking at least, inside of here where we have this bullish order block, right? Where we have this up close candle as a breaker, that would be levels. So if we start to see breaking market structures from here, I would want to see, a play that takes me back inside of here. It's going to be a short-term play, counter trend, if I want to call it that, right? But that's how I want to engage, right? And the reason is we have seen that extension into premium, right? And a little bit of retracement is kind of valid for me here. That's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm thinking about this. If you think about DXY also, right, we just got to a weekly order block. A weekly order block inside of here. I was marking that yesterday, right? So we saw breaking market structure, right, and then returns back into discount. So this is still healthy. Dollar can still climb higher. There's nothing stopping it from here. Right, but we're taking in notes, everything that's happening, because there's still escalation news, but we're losing that story. We're seeing the dollar really break lower highs, or sorry, lower lows, and then that means what? Bearishness or bearish camp, bearish market structure. So I'm looking at this level. This is also a mitigation block, just like EU, right? Up close candle, run lower, fails to take out this low, breaking market structure, returns. So we're at a very, very, very important level. We're at a key level here. Right. So as a day trader, I'm paying attention to this and making a decision to do something inside of here, which is okay. Can we start to see, on lower time frame price just give us a little bit of movement? Are we seeing breaking market structures, right? And we're not seeing a whole lot, right? But that's what I'll be expecting. Are we seeing breaks to the upside? I would engage that as short-term bullishness, right? Before we probably then go higher. I'm watching out for this level inside of here that we can reach back up inside of here before we might even start to look for sell side. So right now, which is what most traders miss. It's like, okay, the dollar is selling and bearish. The dollar can be selling, right? And when you get in, it's retracing, it's accumulating more positions, and you're on the wrong side. So the fact that it's going to be bearish, especially if the story is right that like seasonally we've seen the dollar have it up or have its highs at April and then expands through the rest of the year, right? This happens through, all of the other foreign currencies. We see them form a low in April. The stock market also forms a low in April for 10 years consistently now. They've been doing that and then rallies through the end of the year. So if that story is still what we ride through, right, then there's still a lot to do in terms of sell side on the dollar, right? And that's why just selling blindly here is kind of like just chasing for me. So like I said, it's either I'm not doing anything or I look for how to get into this retracement, which is exactly what I'm doing, right? How do I get back into this retracement for a short-term move? In in real time, it's going to be it is going to be a true move. Like if price expands from down here all the way up here, that's a good enough move to make money off of, right? Another thing I considered is if you look at this, we had Monday expand lower, Tuesday expand into a higher time frame level. This is TCs for Tuesday low of the week. It's a higher time frame level that we've expanded into. We're already seeing breaking market structure away from that level, right? And this made me to make a decision on a trade yesterday, right? So I took 2 trades in the Asian session yesterday, right? I took, the Japanese yen. Again, this is a good one to engage in because the JPY basket actually sees expansions inside of the Asian session. So I was quite okay with this. This is the exact same type play that I've taken on USD JPY a few weeks back. And I think I'm really just liking that idea. If I can add that to, all the things I do, I would enjoy it where, I'm looking for discount levels, finding, a good enough order block like this and engaging that for reps. This was quite painful, and I'll tell you why. So if you look at this again, we had Monday expand lower, Tuesday we expand lower, we take out Monday's low, and then we break market structure. If I think a low is forming, I want to see a breaking market structure. That happens, price returns back into discounts, fails to take out an old low, and then expands again. Now, this is not a breaking market structure in its sense, but if you look at this, this is still inside of the range discount here, right? And this is what this move is still projecting. Now, price doesn't take out this high, returns into a down close candle. Breaking market structure means I'm bullish. So I'm engaging price down here. I had a limit. This did not take me in at my limit. Very painful. Right? I shared that with the inner circle. Did not take me in, but as price jolted, I got the alert, but I wasn't tagged in, and that will probably be because of spread. The spread at midnight hours for the Asian pairs are always crazy. So I was able to get into that play, and then I got into, a much more smaller position. This was 5 lots inside of here, but I got into a smaller position and added more. I got into a 0.5, a 0.5, and then as price broke this high and was returning, I got into a 1 lot size. So that was able to rally. And, for the inner circle, I talked about, this type of plays where it makes sense to just engage because you are having a very tiny risk, right? But good enough upside. Right. So now this particular trade is not, all about money, money, money for me because it's not even a pair that I engage. It's just a good opportunity. Right. So, but look at this play. Like it makes sense. Right. Even if you had that high, or even if you had where price is, that's still a 1 to 2. Right. Even if this is all you have, right? This is a 1 to 2. So this is the kind of play. And as you can see, right, my expectations are not through the roof. I'm not expecting price to go all the way, in here. I'm not expecting price to just keep going higher because I understand that, this can still be very, very bearish, especially if the dollar is weak, right? And that's what we're seeing. So just trades inside of that idea is what I'm looking at. I'm using this to show you, how I'm engaging this season, right? What else? Then I also engage gold, right? So I got into gold sales as I was looking at this. Very, very pretty sales. I didn't expect that would be that good, but the same idea, the same idea. Now, let me show you what happened with gold. As we are approaching the Asian session, price expands. Very, very crazy expansion into the Asian session. I'll show you in 5 minutes. Expands and gets into up close candle breaking market structure. This is your order block, right? Up close candle breaking market structure, fair value gap. The exact place where the fair value gap lines up with the order block is this is king. This is a valid level here. So price runs inside of a Q zone, fakes out old highs where pending liquidity is resting, and gets into the order block. This is a key level for me. So what do I want to do? I want to see how the lower time frame reacts to that story. All right. What do we see from there? Displacement. Boom. Right. DXY are the key level where we can see buy side. right? We are seeing, this foreign assets, gold, get into a key level, and we're seeing displacement from it. So what do? I return back into the lower time frame, the 1 minute to be very precise, to find a breaking market structure. That's exactly what I do. All right, I've seen the displacement. I want to see a breaking market structure. And I was looking for a low risk trade exactly because, again, I'm not so comfortable with getting into what seems like the wrong bias of the dates. Like, okay, you're playing the counter trend, and I'm getting in early. Like I say, like currently, this is a Jet Li move. Right, but if you look at how I'm engaging it, very, very comfortable stops. Right, after price had that expansion here, price returns lower, breaks market structure. So I'm looking at high, low, premium. Right, if we're going to be bearish, we want to see up close candle, send price lower. Right, very technical trade if you think about it. And then I put on that trade. So very, very quick downside, and then I went to bed. All right. Woke up like some minutes ago and I saw that, we're all the way here. Very good trade. I'm going to send that into the channel, maybe just after now, so that you see what it looks like. So now, what am I thinking about this? This is where I end this review, right? When I was thinking about this trade, I was looking at, as soon as price was breaking here, I was looking at price taking out this low. So I've taken out major partials inside of here. If you think about it, we have taken out Asia's low, right? But I want to see how we continue here, right? It's very, very possible that we have a return back into this equal lows here. This equal lows that was formed yesterday, Tuesday, again, Wednesday high of the week, and then we can return back here. But I'm watching. I'm not, saying that, oh, this is just going to do that. Right. I'm really just watching. I'm holding that position here. I think it's a very, very beautiful position. Right. I have runners running. I've taken out a good amount of partials also. So it's like, okay, let's see what happens. Right. Again, if you look at this, we've just expanded into higher time frame levels. So a little bit of retracement is valid and it makes sense in my view. Right. Again, this is not, oh, I'm bearish here. I'm really just making what is the right decision, which is I won't start to engage price for buys at premium. I would think about looking for sales. And if I can get an opportunity that gets me paid, I would do that. Right. So what are the levels that would, really start to look like or really start to signify buy side for me? It would be levels like this. All right, price returning back into levels like this would be, oh, okay, yeah, we can continue that buy side, right? That's that high before, that gap down that then has now been, now broken through. So again, we've seen a very, very, very strong story for gold. Breaking market structure, down close candles have been sending price higher, down close candle, and down close candle. So it's really been a good story for buy side. Right. So what I'm really saying here is, like I say, like I'm trying to engage those premium levels to get a little bit of retracement. Right. So if you look at it on the 4 hour time frame, you see this bullish order block here. Right, where that breaker is, that'll kind of like be another level that I'll be looking at. Right now, what would start to mean sell side? It would mean that we start to break this up close or this down close candle and really, really do more, because that would still be in bullish camp even if we take out this low. Let me see if I'm showing this rightly. All right, even if we take out this low, we will still be in bullish camp, but it would mean a lot if we start to close below this. All right. So going into New York session, this can be in play, right? We return back into discount and then it continues going higher. So my sales in here, as we start to rally down here, I would start to reduce it to 10, 20%, and then watch what happens. All right. So again, this is how I'm engaging this, and it's serious times that we're in, right? But again, one of the things I don't like to say is we're in bad conditions, right? I just need to find the opportunity. You just need to find the opportunity, right? In bad conditions is where millionaires are made. So it's like if I can get exactly a an headway with how things are playing in the marketplace, then it can be good conditions for me, right? It's only bad condition when you have bad trades. So if you're able to navigate, it's exactly what makes you a trader. It's always going to be hard conditions for somebody out there. Do you get it? All right, guys. So I wanted to share this. I wanted to I'm really just waking up, so you hear how I sound. All right, but the inner circle we meet 2 p.m. We need meet 9 p.m. And guys, if you still need your trading to change, if you still need results to come in this year for you. And I'm not saying you can't get results on your own, but I've noticed that accountability and doing the work that profitability requires is what actually gets you to get the results that you have planned for yourself this year. And that's why the inner circle is here. It's a 6 months program where you actually get to do the work required to get you profitable. You are forced to do it. You see other people do it, right? We have, I think, 400 traders. Right, we have other guys trading live accounts inside of them. We have 3 educators inside of the inner circle. So it's not just me giving you information, right? And you have accountability at your back. Somebody that's actually there with you to say, you know what, are you doing the right thing, right? And making sure you do the right thing. So if you still want to get into the inner circle, right, it is $55, 75K a month, 225K for 3 months, right? So I think the link is somewhere on the group there. Get to the link or just text me directly. I would show you the way there. And have a great day. Have a profitable week. All right, guys. Bless.